Hi, and so today we have Laura Miller with us. She is a professor of nutrition at Bakersfield College and also a registered dietitian, and we are so excited to have her. She's going to share with us some of her insight on children and nutrition. Okay, Laura, go ahead and take it away.
Thank you very much for inviting me. I'm so excited to be here because this is where it starts. Our eating habits start with early childhood educators teaching us how to eat. I'll share a quick little story. I changed the menus at my children's elementary school because they weren't providing fruit. And they had pears at lunchtime. And the student came up to the food service worker and said, "Is this an apple?" And the food service worker thought it was hilarious, so she couldn't wait to tell me about it. And I thought that was awful because the child was so used to having fruit cups and pears were squares that they hadn't actually seen a pear in second grade. That's devastating to me. So it was just an eye-opener for me of that the priority of nutrition has been lost. Mm-hmm. And I get it, we're busy. There's lack of time. There's lack of time to prep. You know, we have budget concerns, both parents are working, and things got lost. Well, one of those horrible things that got lost was nutrition. And what's happening to the US girth, right? The obesity rates are sky high. I've counseled 11-year-olds that were referred to me by cardiologists because they already had high blood pressure. They already had high cholesterol. They were already pre-diabetic. They were obese and they were sedentary. At 11 years old, their future was already written for them. All because of their food choices. So let's erase that story. Let's make it right. We have the power, and you guys are in the best seat to just do something about it. That's why it's so exciting to me. I could talk for hours on this. But the main thing is we need to emphasize the importance. We need to encourage involvement in food choices for the parents, because the parents didn't get the education. So we have to educate the parents and the children. And we have to get them to care about it. So somehow we have to do all that. And that's where you come in, because you know where their buttons are. You know what's important to them. And, you know, I hear all the time, I don't have money. Oh, healthy food costs more. No, it doesn't. It's just that we don't know better. That's something that we perceive, right? So let's think about that. What are the most costly thing of our food budget? It's typically the high protein foods, right? Meats are expensive. Well, why are we eating so much? Americans eat way more protein than we need. So I really like, and you know, I'm a broken record. If you're a student of mine, you see this all the time. Because it's a really easy tool. Believe me, the pyramids were really hard to educate people on. But this is very easy because people know what a dinner plate is. But look at what the smallest part of the plate is. It's the protein. And that's the most costly part of the plate. And what are Americans doing? They're filling their plate up with protein and then say, I don't have any money left over to get fruits and vegetables. Oh, lady, you're crazy. Healthy food is too expensive. No, it's you're making the wrong choices. So let's teach them how to make better choices. Let's focus the meal planning on the fruits and vegetables and then decide what goes with that. Totally opposite of what my parents raised me as, right? It was always, here's your meat and then your starch. And then if you have room on your plate, that's fine. But it's not important. Well, what I'm telling you is, let's turn that upside down. Make half your plate fruits and vegetables and plan around that. Then you have the money for the fruits and vegetables and the whole grains. So it's just a different thought process. And getting people to believe that is hard because people love protein. And what's that popular diet now? The keto diet, right? Oh, because you can have bacon and you can have fried whatever, gross stuff.
Or fried gross stuff.
It's like, no. We need carbohydrates. We need whole grains. We need fruits, vegetables, dairy. We need that. And particularly little people need that. We cannot void these food groups for these little people. Little people, that's probably not the politically correct way to put it, right? But they have high needs for their little bodies. If I choose between the age of 20 and 40 or 50 to avoid food groups, that's my choice. But it's not my choice to not provide that to the little ones. The little ones need these food groups. They are relying on us to provide these nutrients that their body needs. You can follow a fad diet all you want, but it's not fair to the little ones. So,
well, Laura,
every meal, I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead. I was going to say that, just so the audience knows that you're a mom of 2 children. And so when you say that, 3, I'm sorry. You're a mom of 3 children. And so when you say that it is affordable and it can be done, you're not just saying that. You actually have done it with your children and you actually are able to provide.
Right. So let me give you some examples, absolutely, because it's expensive to feed children. We all know this, right? When my son moved away this semester, it was amazing how my food budget just lasted. It was like, wow, he does eat a lot, right?
My house too.
So what are some of the things I do? I get rid of the high cost things. And all too often I see people buying high cost items that don't last, such as juice. I don't know why a child needs juice ever. I'm like, why is that even in a kitchen? And it's so expensive and it doesn't last. Because about this much is a serving. Well, what child ends at that half cup serving? No, they don't. They drink the whole glass. Mm-hmm. And that half gallon or whatever size bottle you get lasts for 2 days maybe, and that's expensive. So I can't afford fruit juice in my house. I wouldn't want my child to have fruit juice because it takes all the good stuff out of the fruit and gives me the sugar. Well, I don't want my kids to have that. I want them to have the fiber. I want them to have the phytochemicals. Okay. So first and foremost, drinks with calories, I don't purchase, except if it's milk and it's non-fat milk. Okay. And it's not flavored milk. Oh, don't get me started.
No strawberry.
In the paper 2 days ago, did you guys notice that some government official was saying, oh no, we need to put flavored milk, whole milk on the menus because these poor kids aren't drinking the non-fat milk that's strawberry flavored. Okay, well, when did strawberry milk go with spaghetti at lunch? That doesn't make sense to me. Strawberry milk is a dessert, right? So why is it even on the menu? Why are we giving them the option? They need to learn to drink milk. They don't need the added sugar. Milk already has 3 teaspoons of sugar in it per cup. You put a flavor in, and that's 6 teaspoons. Oops, they've already consumed way more added sugar than they should have had for the whole day, for their little bodies.
Wow.
Okay, so I can do a squat. Sorry. I try to stay on subject. So another thing that I like to do is I like to buy in bulk. So for instance, I shop at Walmart, and it's really nice right now because of the curbside delivery. You can do all your shopping on the computer. So I have total control of my budget, which it's been very nice. Thanks COVID, that was one plus. So I buy chicken in bulk, and then thanks to Bernie, giving me the idea of slow cooker shredded chicken, right? So I would used to boil it. Now I just put it in the slow cooker, and it's beautiful. I can get so many meals out of $10 of chicken. I freeze my shredded chicken. I can make chicken enchiladas. I can make chicken Alfredo. I make chicken quesadillas. What else do we? Oh, chicken salad sandwiches. And I fed people for 2 weeks off at $10 in the
Nice.
protein.
Wow.
So the chicken breast is being shredded and being used throughout different meals. It's not just the focus. Okay, so if I have steak, I'm going to do like a steak fajita because it will go longer because I'm doing little strips. So not everybody's getting 16 ounces. Who can afford that, right? And nobody needs that, especially little ones, right? So if we reduce the amount of meat we're purchasing, we have more money for our fruits and vegetables and whole grains.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Kind of how I let it stretch.
I think
like
it'd be
that.
nice to do a segment on just lots of recipe options, right? Because you just gave me a lot of ideas just in that little piece.
Well, and you know, that's a good thing to bring up because I have students that are like, oh, give me your recipes. Give me, you know, let me know what you're doing. Well, what I turn it back on them and I say, look, you have your favorite recipes. Mine aren't going to be yours. So then, so like I'll use the enchiladas, for example. So I like enchiladas, but they're not necessarily healthy if you deep fry the tortilla or whatever, right? So I make an enchilada casserole so I can make it a lower fat option, right? So you take your recipes and you make it for something, and make it low calorie for you. For instance, so I start a meal like my kids would come home from school and they're hungry, right? And so whenever you're hungry, you're just going to grab anything in the pantry, your chips, your crackers, or whatever. So when I'm making dinner is when they're hungry. So I usually prep, I slice some cucumbers, or tonight I had, well, I do it for the weekend because it's something I like, but I don't have time for it during the week is, you know, I have raw cauliflower, broccoli, and my kids like ranch, right? So I use the low-fat sour cream, and I buy the ranch powder in bulk, and so it's a lot cheaper, and it's better because it's not full fat. And so I have that on the table, and that disappears before they even get dinner. So then they're not over-consuming because they've already had their vegetable serving without even thinking about it. They were thinking it was like a chip. And chips are there too. I never omit that because I'm a snacker. I like snacks, right? But if there's options, you're not going to just go for the chips.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, kind of a balance.
So I've always
Yes.
had the options for my kids. And so they've never felt like they're eating diet foods or, oh, their crazy mom is a dietitian, so they can't have anything. They get everything they want, but they've learned that they can choose. So at lunch today, I was telling them, you know, oh, I'm doing this presentation on kids or whatever. And we were out at lunch, and my kids are like, oh, we don't eat healthy, you know, like we're going to show you, Mom. And I'm like, oh, really? Why did you order the water then? Why didn't you order a drink? Oh, well, that's because it's expensive to buy a drink. And I said, well, then that's excellent, because not only am I teaching you nutrition, I'm teaching you economics.
Yes.
You knew that buying a drink would cost money. And beside yourself, you don't want to follow me, but you are. And it's all these lessons they've learned not on purpose.
Right.
It's just been fed to them. And it's obviously on my mind all the time. And it's not on everybody's mind in the general public, but we need to get it back there.
I think we need to bring Laura back for a second one.
Yeah. Well, we're out of time, Laura, but everything you've shared has been just awesome.
Wonderful.
And it's really helpful. And I really like the idea of just by living it, you know, making it part of everything we do, brings home the lesson for your children. And I think that's really important. Thank you so much for coming on The Child's View. Thank you for watching The Child's View. Please join us on Instagram, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, Laura.